ADHD affects everyone. Even if neither you nor someone in your family is diagnosed with ADHD, it can still affect you, and your actions can impact those who have ADHD. We all have our stories. This is mine. This is why I need to raise awareness. When I was 6, my brother was born. It seemed like he was a completely normal little boy. But by the time he was 3, it was obvious that he had behavioral issues. My parents just thought it was boys being boys. But by the time he started school, he was always in trouble. He couldn't sit still or listen. Right away, he was marked as a problem child. He couldn't behave and wasn't doing well in his classes. He struggled to make friends and was bullied. Even once he was diagnosed with ADHD, teachers didn't want to deal with him. They would just send him to the office because he was a bad kid.
I used multiple medicines like Concerta and Strattera, but they gave me suicidal thoughts, and I was vocalizing them at school, so much so that the school was asking for a psychologist to take a look at.
But nothing he tried really helped. Video games were his only outlet. As his sister, it was difficult too. I didn't understand. I didn't think it was fair that my parents spent more time with him, that they didn't yell at him every time he got into trouble, or that he got rewarded for behaving well. It wasn't until much later that I realized he couldn't always help it, that ADHD isn't just an excuse like everyone else told him it was. By the time he got to middle school, he had lost all motivation. He felt like he couldn't win. It was then that I realized he needed a role model, someone he could trust and who believes in him. My parents and I have been working with him, and now he has goals and is trying to do better in school. But he still struggles with it every day. He's a smart kid who is rarely given a chance to prove it. That's his story. My cousin, whom I've always been close to, was diagnosed at a young age with ADHD and ODD. I babysat him often, but nothing anyone did would help him behave. If you were not constantly finding new ways to entertain him, he would get into trouble. His medicine always made him drowsy, and he was never hungry. He was a really happy kid when he was behaving without medication. He always wanted to be your helper. But with medication, he would just sit and stare. He tried many medications and had the same problems. He was also labeled as a problem child in school. No one, even now, feels like dealing with him. He has a hard time making friends, is bullied, and he is constantly being sent home. One day, when he was 6, the doctor changed his medicine and he went to school like any other day. But when he got there, he took a shoelace around his neck and said he wanted to die because everyone hated him. He was switched off the medication and has been doing much better, but it made me realize that people need to understand this disorder. The stigma needs to be erased. I didn't know what suicide was when I was 6, but because no one gave him a chance, the happiest and sweetest kid tried to end his life. This is a kid who used his allowance money to buy me a necklace because he thought I would like it. A kid who loves helping his mom cook and making everyone laugh. This is his story. This is why we need to be aware. This is why we need to stop stigmatizing these kids and try to help them. This is my story. What's yours?